And if children are not comfortable being around you, it's again time for you as a man to look at yourself. Check yourself in the mirror and see, pinpoint what are the things that I'm doing. You don't know what tomorrow holds. And I think there is power in understanding that just because I don't know what tomorrow holds, I don't have control over it. Closing in towards month end. How am I going to pay the bills? Hello and welcome to another video. I trust you are well. My name is Tatenda and it's the Man Podcast. And we're back with another video. It's another week. And thank goodness it's Friday. I'm so glad to be here. Anyway, I'm alone today. And Rudy is not here. Tristan is not here. But through it all, we send them our best. Pumza is here behind the scenes. And you know, every time she is here, she's always giving me those vibes of beautiness. Everyone may be wondering, for the guys that are watching this, I am in my traditional way because it's Heritage Month and we're celebrating Heritage Day on Tuesday. So my question to you now as you join this podcast, this episode is, what are you going to be wearing for traditional, for Heritage Day? Are you going to be cooking a heritage meal? And if so, what is it that you guys do for your traditions? What do you cook? I know my wife is gonna make us a lekker dombolo and she's gonna make us some lekker beef stew. And yes, you know, for the guys that know my wife, she is amazing with the pot. But anyway, you let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for the guys that have joined and being part of the membership of this channel. The reason why you are getting this earlier than everyone else is because you are a member, and those are some of the packs, including live streams, including question and answers. So whenever you join the membership program or the membership of the channel, you are helping us get revenue. And there are a few streams that you can help us get revenue or get some money or income to ensure that we bring you the best quality stuff, especially with the podcast. It takes a lot, the lighting, the sound, the setups, everything. It takes so much for us to be able to do that. So with your money and with your contributions, we can be able to do that. Also, sponsoring this video, maybe you want us to speak about your company, about your brand, or anything that you have going on, or an event that you're going to be hosting or be a part of in the coming future, in the coming weeks, we can advertise for you for a kickback, of course. And also, if you want to launch your product, that's where you can advertise. That's why you always see this banner that pops up that says support the channel, and you can advertise here. So instead of the support the banner, then you're gonna have your branding or whatever that your company is. We'll do all your designs, don't worry, just let me know. You come through, send us an email. Every detail that you want is on this banner that you're seeing right now. Subscribing and sharing also ensures that we get more people to understand what the Man Podcast is all about and Healing Hearts channel is all about, to ensure that your mental health, men's mental health, and everything that is to do with your mental health is in check. So those are the revenue streams. Or you feel like, you know what, you just want to donate something to ensure that we get this quality content to the next person if you appreciate it and what we are doing. So those are the ways for you to support the channel. So please find one that you can do. The subscribing is supporting, the sponsoring is also supporting, and also when you launch your products and advertising, that is also supporting us. And of course, the join button.
Hey creators, let's talk about channel memberships. A feature that lets your most loyal fans support you by joining your channel for a monthly membership fee. They can help you earn more money, and in return, you can offer exclusive member-only perks like badges, emoji, members-only videos, and more.
So it's there next to subscribe. You click on that, then for a minimal fee, I think it starts from 14 Rand 99, 15 Rand, you can help us to create more content like this.
Welcome to the Man Podcast, where your mind truly matters. We're your hosts, Tatenda and Rudy. Here, we tackle life's challenges, foster resilience, and promote wellness. Each episode promises to make a difference, one viewer at a time. Buckle up for a journey of enlightenment, because in the world of man, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
Anyway, without further ado, today we are speaking about the stigmas that succumb men's mental health. Why is men's mental health always seen as, one, the guy is weak, or two, the guy is looking for attention? But then when we speak about men's mental health, we also need to understand that in as much as we are heads, we also need some sort of support. And for a guy that comes through and says, I'm struggling with 1, 2, and 3, that opens up an avenue for someone else to be there and stand up for that person and say, my brother, I am here. In this instance, myself, I opt to be there for any brother that needs to have a happy hand, to have a helping hand, or rather for someone just to listen. We can grab a drink, grab a water, and just chat. Rudy and Tristan are there for that, definitely as well. Our numbers are always everywhere. Our social media platforms are always open for your DMs. Let's chat, gents. Until the day that we're going to have a men's conference, let us chat. Let's find streams, WhatsApp. There's so much medias that we can use to be able to engage with one another. I don't have to sit down in the same room as you, and I also don't have to bring you the solution. Sometimes I don't know the solution. So men's mental health and the stigmas thereof. And the first one that we're going to speak about is the stigma around mental health on its own, not men's mental health. A lot of times we say men often face societal pressures. I think the mere fact that we are heads, it sort of like puts that pressure off. Like for me, whenever I would feel overwhelmed, I would kind of feel like, even if I tell my wife about it, even if I go to my brother and say, this is what I'm going through, maybe my brother is already going through something like that and they're strong. So for me to present that I'm weak over something, maybe it's small to them, then I feel I'm diminishing my ability of being a man. And that's a trick of the enemy to ensure that you are always alone. When you're going through mental health issues or sadness or anxiety or that overall feel of not knowing what tomorrow holds, everything in you wants you to be alone. And I am saying to you tonight, whatever time that you're getting this, you are never alone. There's so much medias, there's so much content that is on YouTube that speaks about mental health. And the one thing that is sort of like, it irks me a little bit is the amount of views that are around mental health. Everything else, comedy and stand-up comedy and breaking news, gossip and all that, there is so much views on that. And people are spending so much time consuming such content. Can we also spend so much time consuming content that is going to empower myself, empower you, and empower the next person, or empower your son, your nephew, your cousin that are growing up to understand that mental health is not a way, or is not a evidence that you're weak. You are not weak. You are perfect. The fact that you've got those feelings, that means it's a good thing. So hold on to that, and that's how you're going to get help. That's how you're going to get assistance. Reach out. There's so much groups. There's SADAG. We spoke about SADAG a few weeks ago, last episode, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a suicide helpline, because last episode we were speaking about suicide prevention, or Suicide Prevention Month, or awareness against suicide. And we did point out a few numbers. Go on to the video. You can pause this on and go on to that video and listen to it. And there is numbers there for SADAG, South Africa Depression and Anxiety Group. There's also ones that are international. And for the people that are in South Africa, as this is Heritage Month, you can still get that on all local languages, official local languages. Anyone that you want to speak to, be it in Afrikaans, in Xhosa, in Tswana, Chitsonga, Chivenda, anyone that you can speak to in your local language or in your own language, that is going to be more comfortable for you to sort of express how you feel. And anxiety. Depression and anxiety affects men differently, often manifesting in irritability, anger, or aggression instead of sadness. Many men might not recognize this as symptoms of mental health issues, and it's important to highlight the importance of seeking help and recognizing these symptoms. There's so much importance in understanding when you are weak, because it's only when you say you are weak that it is easy for you to open up to solutions. And a lot of times we want to kind of feel like, no. I can't show my family that I'm depressed because they're also going to feel like, geez, that's the end of the world. Or they're going to feel like, what's the point of living if the head of the family is saying they're depressed or they're anxious? I myself have gone through anxiety times where I'm like, it's closing in towards month end. How am I going to pay the bills? Am I going to have enough to pay the bills? Where are we going to get food? Am I going to get enough clients to make sure that for the coming month? That's anxiety. And when you're going through all that, it's very important for you to understand that you are not alone. Every man, I believe, that's living, that is on this earth, at some point they have felt a little bit of anxiety when it comes to tomorrow, because you don't know what tomorrow holds. And I think there is power in understanding that just because I don't know what tomorrow holds, I don't have control over it. That's where we put God, and that's where we put our faith, that I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I'm not going to stop living today because I don't know what tomorrow is holding. I'm going to live today to the best of my abilities. And when tomorrow comes and it's screwed up, we'll figure out tomorrow. Avoid that part where you don't know what tomorrow holds. And it's fine to stay it like that. Keep it like that. Keep it as you don't know, and it ends like that. Suicide rates among men. Men have higher suicide rates compared to women in many counterparts in many parts of the world. Discussing why men may feel like they have no other option and providing resources for help are essential. Talking about support systems, community involvement, and open communications could reduce these statistics. I think there was a time that statistics was saying that 1 in 6 men commit suicide every hour. That is an alarming stat. But then, in as much as, yes, that is alarming, I don't have the exact stat. But even if it was close to that one, that's one too many. So imagine if such platforms can open up and say, gents, you don't have to commit suicide for it to be a solution. Because when you are going through that, it's easy for you to feel like I'm a burden to this world. And that's what the enemy wants, for you to feel like, nah, you are in such a dark hole that no one can bring you a solution. No one can say anything that you're going to agree to. No one can say anything that you're going to feel like there is light at the end of the tunnel. But if we can discuss this and be there for one another as gents, it's going to be easier for the other person to look at you and go, wow, Tats, you said you wanted to kill yourself at some point, and here you are, and the impact that you're putting on this life, the impact that you're putting on in the society, surely I can do it. Surely I can survive from what I was going through to what I'm trying to achieve, just like you did. So as we get to that point where we become each other's keepers or each other's brother, then it's going to be easy to retain those stats from even 1 to maybe a man was about to commit suicide until a brother came and showed up and was there for him. So killing ourselves, it's not going to help. Committing suicide is not a solution. Not now, not ever. Workplace stress and burnouts. This is a big one, because right now as it stands, we're in September, and it's easy for you to feel like the year is gone. What have I done? But from January to September, if you introspect and you're thinking, what have I done? Have I saved up enough? Probably not. Have I built what I wanted to achieve in January? Probably not. But the effect is you still have a family to go back home to. You still have your life. There is so much importance in that, because that already is an underrated achievement. That's an underrated blessing in life. So take it. Yes, you may not have saved like you wanted to. Yes, you may not have the material stuff that you wanted, but the fact that you're still alive, there is always tomorrow. There is always next year. You can still start in January. Who said it's late? And besides, who are you racing with? It's your own race. Run it at your own pace. If the funds are not permitting, don't rush it. Don't put yourself in a space whereby now you're going to end up thinking, why did I get into that debt? Because I wanted to achieve this, I wanted to achieve that. But at the end of the day, is it really worth it if it's going to screw up your happiness and screw up your freedom or your peace? It's not worth it. Mental health and masculinity. Traditional views of masculinity often discourage men from expressing their emotions. Exploring healthier forms of masculinity that incorporate emotional expression and seeking help can reshape these perceptions. Just because you are a man and there is this perception that men don't cry. Why not? Cry. My brother, cry. Imagine if we say we are meeting in a room just so that we can cry. I think women would do that without even thinking twice. So if women can do that without thinking twice, what's stopping us from doing that? And you're going to see that if we get ourselves in that room and say, gents, we're just going to have this Thursday, this Friday, this weekend, we are meeting up to cry. Let's just cry. I don't want solutions. I don't want anything. I just want to have a lekker sob, a good 1 hour, a good 30 minutes of a sob. Like, yeah, that. I think it'll be good for us. Just because you're a man, yes, your masculinity says men don't cry, but I think there's power in understanding that when we cry, we let go of that baggage, we let go of that burden. And that's going to make us lighter people. That's going to make us lighter individuals. Addiction and substance abuse. Substance abuse is often used by men as a coping mechanism for underlying mental health issues like depression, anxiety, or trauma. Discussing the connection between the addiction and mental health can open the door to conversations about healthy coping mechanisms. Smoking is not good for your health. Drugs are not good for your health. In fact, there is a guy that says in drugs there's demons in there. So because there is a demon in there, it forces you to keep on going back because you feel like, you know what, I am at my best when I have smoked because I can forget about my issues. Speaking about your issues is the only way that is going to help you solve them. And when you speak to your brother and you speak to the other person or a professional, they will give you solutions and tips and tricks to ensure that you handle it better. Drugs are not ever going to help you handle it better. Alcohol is never going to help you handle it better. Let's just put it out straight up. If we don't speak about our issues, we're always going to fall for that. We're always going to fall for that pit. And how do we fall into the same pit that we saw other men fall into? Because we've seen what drug abuse does, we've seen what alcohol abuse does, and it ends up in gender-based violence, it ends up being children being abused, children being violated, and that is not right. Ask yourself that, can another parent trust me with their child for an hour? If the answer is no, then you need to rethink your steps. Can a parent trust you with their child for an hour and they are not there? They can go shopping and they can go do whatever that they are doing. If they cannot do that, then it's time for you to have a self-introspection and say, what is it that I am doing? What is it that I am saying that is making them not feel comfortable, me being around their children? And if children are not comfortable being around you, it's again time for you as a man to look at yourself. Check yourself in the mirror and see, pinpoint what are the things that I'm doing that I'm probably making these kids get scared of me, or these parents not have confidence in me. There's so much importance in that as a man. I believe that every man should be there for every child. Every man should be as a father to every child. Every man should be there for every kid that is feeling vulnerable, feeling under pressure or whatever. Try as much as a man to be there for that child because they see you as an adult, as a role model. You may not be their father, you may not be their brother, but as they see you and how you live your life, that is inspiration enough. Relationships and emotional intimacy. Many men struggle with emotional intimacy in relationships, which can lead into isolation and further mental health issues. Encouraging open communications and vulnerability in personal relationships can lead to healthier emotional connections. Gents, it's okay to go to your wife and say, baby, I missed you. And try to be a baby. My wife knows that I can become a big baby to her. That's being emotional. I can become a big baby. Literally, I feel like crying. Then tears are dropping. And I'm not going to feel embarrassed. It's not embarrassing. You're keeping up with your emotional self. You're keeping up with your feminine side, like I always say. Physical health and mental health. Physical health issues such as chronic pain and illnesses can have a significant impact on men's mental health, highlighting the connection between the physical exercise, nutrition, and mental well-being is crucial. You need to go to gym. You need to have some sort of exercise. I stopped going to gym, but I replaced that with hitting cricket balls. And that has done me a whole lot of good. Every Wednesday, my wife knows that my husband is going to leave home in the morning. He's going to come back late at night, because that's my day of hitting balls. Every now and then on weekends, I play cricket. And after that, that pain, that's good for me. I feel I'm a better person in that week if I've hit balls. And I'm going to go there. And I still remember my first week that I then started with the hitting of balls. I felt nonsense. And there was so much things that were happening, so much insecurities that were happening with me as to my technique of batting or how to hit a ball, and being scared of being hit and all that. And I'm so glad that it's actually therapeutic, because after hitting balls this week, I even called my wife and I'm like, babes, geez, I was on top of my game. I enjoyed it. I was so in my zone. It's physically daunting, but it was good for me. So find your hobby, even if it means you're going to walk every day in the morning before you sit down on your chair in the office, or you go to gym if you want to go to gym, or you go for a run. But that is going to make sure you're a different person. Or even walk out of the room a bit, walk out of the house and walk around and just feel the fresh air, listen to the birds chirping and look at the animals, look at the dogs that are just barking and all that. That changes your perspective of life, rather than just sitting there and go, I'm sad, I'm not happy. You can do this, bro. All right, mate. Number 9, fatherhood and parenting pressure. Whew, it's tough. As fathers, the pressure of fatherhood, particularly the expectation to be a provider, role model, can contribute to mental health challenges. Offering support for fathers through mental health resources and conversations can reduce the burden and the feeling of inadequacy. Funny enough, my family and I had Holy Communion. And in the Holy Communion, I found myself just venting how someone broke into my house and how I felt naked, how I felt disrespected, how I felt like I was not there to help my wife or to protect my wife from this intruder. And every time, the week after or the few days after, she called me and told me that my son wasn't feeling well and I was at work. And again, I felt that overwhelming sensation of, I'm not there and he's sick. I even had to cancel my lessons and cancel my day because I'm rushing back to go and take him to the doctor. But then my wife was like, no, he's fine now, he's sleeping. But I did not believe her. Those feelings of inadequacy, am I doing enough as a father? And my wife is like, love, we walked into a store and you bought me and a chocolate, but you never bought yourself anything. Every other time when we have to beg you to buy yourself stuff, but you don't even think twice when it comes to providing for us. That means you're a good father. And that feeling of inadequacy just keeps on until someone affirms you and say you are doing a great job. So my brother, bring the camera close. My brother, you are doing a great thing. You are there for your family, bro. You're providing for your family. You're hustling for your family. You're a good father, bro. You are a good father. Okay, bring it back. You get it. You don't get it, forget about it. Anyway, number 10, access to mental health resources. Many men don't know where to start when it comes to seeking mental health or help. Many men don't know where to start whenever they are seeking mental health resources or seeking help, or they feel that the resources available aren't tailored for them. Sharing information on accessible male-friendly mental health resources is important in empowering men to take that first step. It's okay. I think the first step that you can ever do for yourself is accepting that you're struggling, is accepting that you are weak, is accepting that you can't do it on your own. That's when the other brother comes into place. That's where the resources now come into place. And there is no such thing as, that's not good for me, or that's not meant for me. There's tons of resources on mental health, or men's mental health for that matter. If you Google on YouTube right now and say men's mental health on YouTube, you'll find more than 10,000 or a billion videos that have to do with men's mental health. So there is plenty of resources. If you go on to Google and just type in men's mental health, there's going to be organizations that are going to come through on that first page of Google. There is SADAG, there is mentalhealth.com, there is mensmentalhealth.com, there is resources on Spotify, there's resources on YouTube, there is resources on Apple Podcast, everywhere. There is enough resources for you to pinpoint which one is going to be good for you, which one is going to be relevant for you. But for the most part, you cannot do it on your own, bro, if you don't seek help. And if you don't accept that you need the help, it's pointless for you to go. It's pointless for me to come to you and say, this is how you're going to deal with it, or this is how you can deal with your mental health, if you yourself don't want the help. So firstly, you have to ask. You have to seek. You know, we always say, when in the Bible says, seek first the kingdom of God. When you're seeking, you don't just look through and browse through. You literally diligently seek help. Like, I am struggling. I'm struggling with my mental health. I'm struggling with these thoughts that I'm not good enough. I'm struggling with these thoughts that I'm not enough. Once that happens and you've opened up the door for solutions are going to come. This video is part of those solutions. And when you sit down with us, we're not going to tell you how to run your life. We're just going to listen. Sometimes I think just talking about your stuff, it eases the burden. That's why women vent, and that's the end of it. Done. They move on to the next one. We need to be in a position where when we vent, that's already a space, or that's already a step forward, and that opens up more space in our minds and in our hearts to fill in with more stress than packing up on top of packing. When you talk about it, it calms down a bit. Then you can fill it up again, talk about it. The more you talk about it, the more it's going to be easy. It comes, it goes, it comes, it goes, it comes, it goes. Remember, it's a journey. It's not a destination for mental health. So those are the 10 tips that can help you as we get into September, going on to October, and almost the end of the year. It's now rainy season. Things are changing. It's now summer. Everyone is going out with their shirts on and their shorts and everything, and the floral stuff on. Please seek help if you're not in a good space. All these videos that are going to pop up here, these videos are helping you, and they are resources to ensure that you are the best possible version of yourself. Click on it, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Cheers for now.